warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Arina Shahida from class ADE493 PAC, and I will elaborate on the Malay architecture and traditional houses. Malay architecture and traditional houses represent the beauty in sharing a home with others while living in harmony with nature. Traditional Malay houses can be seen differently, as the size, form, and ornamentation depended on the size, wealth, and social status of the family in the Malay community. Every region owns each type of distinctive style influenced by the elements representing certain tribes, races, cultures, and customs. Decorative elements are one of the most important components that makes up a Malay traditional architecture, as it reflects the understanding of merging between aesthetic and functionalism. In the ornamentation and decorative elements found in the Malay architecture, we can see the exceptional and finesse in the skills found in Malay craftsmen and carpenters. Some of the decorative elements that can be seen in Malay architecture are tunjuk langit, sisik naga, sulur bayung, ande-ande, pemele, and kepala cincin. These decorative elements are used along the ridge of a roof, corners of a roof edge, and even as a horizontal decorative timber roof eaves. Some Malay decorative elements that are found in Malay architecture not only show the difference in identities, but also are functional, like cross ventilation by maximizing wall openings. Malay traditional houses have the defining characteristic of a construction built without the use of nails and metal supports, unlike the modern houses. Malay builder artisans are well known with their adept skill in artistic wood cutting in such manners that allows the ends of wood to be tightened by wedges and interlocking edges. This makes them able to slide together to solidly interlock. This carpentry skill makes the construction to be easily dismantled when they want to move houses to be built in another location. Not only that, Malay traditional houses built with this wooden carpentry skill have the ability to withstand earthquakes. Materials used for the flooring are also lightweight and low thermal capacity materials that help to keep the house cool. It is another characteristic of Malay architecture. And another is the openness in its design because it is geared to suit the tropical climate of Malaysia, hence why Malay architecture focuses on effective ventilation. The full-length window contribute to the openness in traditional Malay architecture while it is made comfortable for large gatherings while providing great views on the surrounding area. This is because we can see nature as we peek out through the windows, unlike our modern houses. This openness concept reflects the nature of Malay people who are welcoming and hospitable towards guests. Large overhangs are also used in the Malay building to provide protection to the indoor from heavy rains and shielding eyes from glare. Balai Besar Kedah is one of the most prominent Malay buildings that reflects and influences the Malay traditional architecture. Balai Besar Kedah is a royal audience hall located within the complex of Kota Setar Palace. This grand hall has witnessed multiple coronations of the Sultans of Kedah in its timeline since 1735, including highly ranked social events. This is a very great example on how it featured the traditional Malay style while incorporating some influences taken from Siam and also the Western world. The reason behind this influence is due to the Sultan, who often traveled, was inspired by the buildings he saw during his journey. Balai Besar Kedah is a mixed-style building as a result of the unification of Malay, Siam, and Western influences. The arrangement of spaces as well as the ornamentation of Balai Besar Kedah highlighted the high status of the ruler Sultan as the host for all grander social events hosted throughout the whole decades. It was built completely in 1735, and the final form of this Balai Besar reflects the infusion of styles and influences taken by the Malay, Thai, and colonial influences. The Malay style in the architecture can be seen on the roof area. This combination of motif awan lara and makara holds the symbolic link between Malay center power along the center of Siamese civilization. Another Malay motif displayed on this Malay architecture is the bunga terong on the ceiling and sulur paku on kekisi tangga besi. These local floral motifs are an example to the strong Malay influence on every element that makes up the Balai Besar Kedah. as Siam had forged a closer relationship with Kedah during this latter period, and that includes the building's second construction. This is reflected at the entrance form roof gable and imitates the vernacular architecture on the region of Lakasuka. Another motif used that spans between columns supporting the roof over the foyer veranda reflects the Siamese temples. Lastly, the color schemes used for Balai Besar Kedah of green and yellow can be seen on the varnished roofing tiles. These can be found in palaces and temples of Siam. Another influence apart from Siam is the British colonial architecture style, like neoclassical, Palladian, and Regency styles. The influence of neoclassical and Palladian style can be traced in the build of columns, doors, and windows of this building. Regency style influence, however, can be seen on the cast iron balustrades of the green staircase with geometrical and floral details.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nishaya Yusri and I am from program ADE493 and I will elaborate on Istana Lama Sri Menanti Architecture. Negeri Sembilan Malay Architecture. They are designed to fit Malaysia's tropical environment. The houses are constructed on stilts to keep them cool and dry, whereas the structures are made of wood, bamboo, and leaves. The dwellings are designed with a serambi that contains serambi pangkal, serambi tengah, and serambi hujung, as well as the rumah ibu or main house with a simple timber frame architecture, pitch roof, front porches, and numerous ventilation vents in the walls. Negeri Sembilan houses are also adorned with exquisite wood carvings that serve as visible markers of the owner's social rank and status. Istana Lama Seri Menanti, Kuala Pilah, Negeri Sembilan. Seri Tuanku Muhammad Ibni Almarhum Tuanku Antah, Negeri Sembilan 7 yang di-Pertuan Besar directed the construction of a new home palace in Seri Menanti in 1902 to replace his previous Istana Baru that are constructed because his former palace destroyed by British troops during the Bukit Putus War in 1875. Istana Lama Seri Menanti is a remarkable Malaysia's highest timber palace, 4-story tall structure, still standing tall over 100 years old. The palace major structures are 65-foot long pillars that extend through the palace center tower from the ground to the uppermost center tower. Ornaments and decoration in palace signify the ruler reach and authority. It is believed that the more intricate the wood carvings, the wealthier the sultan are. Istana Lama Seri Menanti is a one-of-a-kind example of Negeri Sembilan Malay architecture, combining Malay, Chinese, and European components. Traditional architectural elements are naturally infused into the palace architecture, such as the use of timber and the use of stilts to elevate the palace above the ground. This structure is completely nail-free as it is held together of pieces by wood called pasak. The palace is intricately carved with remarkable wood carvings from Tukang Kahar, a renowned Malay carving expert, which can be seen on the palace exterior and inside, that are included to enhance the palace design. The palace pillars are built of chenga wood, which is incredibly difficult to carve and easily dulls even the sharpest swords. Moving on to the Chinese influence on the palace architecture, resulted from strong ties between Malay kings and the Chinese community. The palace slightly concave roof lined with upturned eaves is typical of Chinese architecture. The 4-story design with a clock tower that was built amid the British colonial period is thought to be owed to the influence of European architecture on Malay monarchs during the colonial period. The palace also includes neoclassical elements which were prevalent in Europe during the 19th and 18th century. Columns, arches, and symmetrical facades are examples of these elements. The architecture of the place also exhibits Victorian elements which were dominant in Britain during the 19th century. This influence also can be found in the rich decoration and exquisite feature of the palace. Preservation of Malay traditional architecture. As Malaysia pursues modern industrialization drive, traditional construction skills are now gradually being forgotten. Maintaining and preserving traditional Malay buildings is challenging due to this loss of passed down expertise and skills on traditional architecture. Today, Balai Besar Kedah is an established tourist attraction where visitors may explore its distinctive architectural elements and discover more about Malaysia's history and culture. The structure is a fine example of traditional Malay architecture, and it had a significant impact on the style of many other structures in Malaysia. The old palace of Seri Menanti has been meticulously preserved and is now a public royal museum. Seri Menanti, Negeri Sembilan status as a Malay royal town must be protected and maintained for its valuable characteristic and historical significance. That's all from us. Thank you for watching.